Jeremiah 29.
Hey, Shalom, Mr. Allah and world. Brother Ezekiel.
Brother Chris.
And we're here on another day on part 3 for lying preachers, pastors, prophets, elders, deacon, bishops, camps, so forth and so on. So we're going to get straight into it due to this wicked little folly day that's going on right now. So anywho, we're going to start in Jeremiah chapter 9, and we'll start at verse 2 through 9.
Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 2 through 9. Oh, that I had in the wilderness a lodging place of wayfaring men, that I might leave my people and go from them, for they be all adulterers and a symbol of treacherous men.
You see that? So right here, even Jeremiah, this is why a lot of us start saying like we can't stand being around, wickedness and stuff, and majority is with our people. That's why a lot of individuals breaking off from those churches and from those camps and stuff, because they're not dealing righteously according to what the word says 100%. They want to twist it up to their own gain and everything. This is why we have to continue to keep reading this. That's why it irks us. It irks me when I see brothers and sisters constantly debating each other over the word because of their doctrines that they've been taught. And once again, I stated before in last videos that this is the only doctrine that you need. It's back in Deuteronomy where even Moses said this is the doctrine that's supposed to have been taught. Same doctrine that Christ was teaching, those laws, statutes, and commandments. But our people don't want to do that. He's still cherry picking and stuff because you feel what is good or what you've been brainwashed either by Christianity or by camps nowadays by any men. Okay? So this is why it's Jeremiah saying this. I'd rather be, lodging in the wilderness away from wayfaring men and stuff because they all treacherous. They all deceivers and things. They wolf in sheep clothing. But let's continue reading.
Jeremiah 9:3. And they bend their tongues like their bow for lies, but they are not valiant for the truth upon the earth. For they proceed from evil to evil, and they know not me, said the Most High.
See that? And when I ask questions, certain individuals, when I have conversations, I sit there and say, so they tell me a whole spew of things, and I ask them, well, what does the law say? They can't tell you what the law say because they don't know. So you're mimicking, or you're just regurgitating with your whatever man has taught you, or nowadays what these women have taught you and things. They're twisting up the scriptures because they've been taught doctrines from generation to generation instead of what the word says. It actually says. See that? So you're bending your tongue to please men. That's what you're doing. You're being a man pleaser. There ain't no man pleasers up here, and that's everybody knows me that I come in contact with. I don't kiss no behinds. I'm not a man pleaser. I'm not a yes sir. Okay? But let's continue.
Verse 4. Take ye heed every one of his neighbors, and trust ye not in any brother, for every brother will utterly supplant, and every neighbor will walk with slanders.
Read that again, elder.
Take ye heed every one of his neighbor, and trust ye not in any brother, for every brother will utterly supplant.
See that? So that's why I told you guys when I said I watch who I call brother nowadays. Yo, if you, like what Christ said, if you do the will of my Father, you are my brother, my sister, and my mother. What is the will? All the law, statute, commandments. Mm-hmm. So you don't get no brothers and sisters from me, but they don't know any better. No, they do know better. They just don't want to hear you because you're not part of their congregation and stuff. It didn't come from their elder or their priest or deacon or bishop or whatever man-made title they have and stuff. That's why I don't call everybody brother and sister. Okay? That's why I even cut myself away from certain individuals because of the stuff that they keep spewing out. And then they turn around and they don't want to hear nothing that you have to say, and they'll back it up with an attitude and stuff. Unless their elder tells them what to do and stuff. If I say certain things according to the law, they won't hear from me. But if their elder tells them, they'll be like, oh, okay. Yeah, see, well, that makes sense. I just told you this like 4 days ago. See, you guys are a bunch of man pleasers. That's the problem. And you going once again, you're gonna be standing there in front of Christ when Christ said, all that come to me saying they baptized in my name and cast out demons and did miracles and all this and that and the other. He said, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of iniquity. I'm telling you guys, man, you guys better stop that stuff, man. You better start paying attention. You better start reading. But anyways, continue.
Let me finish it.
Yeah, do not.
For every brother will utterly supplant, and every neighbor will walk with slanders, and they will deceive every one his neighbor, and will not speak the truth. They have taught their tongue to speak lies, and weary themselves to commit iniquity.
Hold this real quick. Let's get a law. Let's precept that. Once again, the word precept means laws, commandments. Let's go to Exodus chapter 23 and verse 1 through 2. We'll hold that and we'll go to Exodus 23 chapter 1. 23 and verse 1 through 2. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Exodus chapter 23 verse 1 says, Thou shalt not raise a false report. Put not thine hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. Neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment.
See that? It's telling you right here. That's wickedness. Your so-called brethren are sitting here creating lies and stuff and twisting these scriptures and cherry picking to teach the people because they want to create these delusions of that they being 100% righteous and stuff when all in actuality, no, they not. They lying. They continue to keep doing this. Then they teach the congregation, don't be tossed from every wind of doctrine and stuff. Watch out. There's other brothers out here. They'll deem you being unrighteous and wicked because you're speaking against them. So it's the same thing that you done in Christianity that you done brought over into the so-called camps and things now. You're doing the same exact stuff. And besides the camps, just say, brothers and sisters out there, if they working like this and stuff, they wicked, period. Now, we gave you a law showing you this is how you precept everything, okay? It goes back into the law, just like what Christ said to do, all right? To get thorough understanding. But let's go back to Jeremiah.
Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 6. Thine habitation is in the midst of deceit. Through deceit, they refuse to know me, saith the Most High.
See? Through deceit, they refuse to know the Most High. So how can you claim you know Christ? You don't know Christ. You don't know the Hamashiach. You don't know him. And you definitely don't know the Father. Because you constantly want to work with deceit. You love lies. You love the tickling in your ears and stuff. You love the being pedestaled by so-called famous men or famous women and things. That's what you guys like to do. But who am I? I'm just reading this. But go ahead, Kak.
Jeremiah 9, verse 7. Therefore, thus saith the Most High of hosts, Behold, I will melt them and try them. For how shall I do for the daughter of my people? Verse 8. Their tongue is an arrow shot out. It speaketh deceit. One speaketh peacefully to his neighbor with his mouth, but in his heart he layeth his weight. Shall I not visit them for these things, saith the Most High? Shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this?
See that? So the Most High is letting you know exactly what's happening. Why our people are doing this and everything. It's nonstop. This is the same thing. Nowadays, it's first with Christianity, they tell you don't read the other half of the book. The other half of the book is done away with. The Old Testament is done away with. Christ did away with all the laws, which is a lie. Now you have Israelite camps sitting here doing almost the same exact thing. They only teach you specific parts of the book because they know you're not going to read the book because you're lazy. And they know you're lazy. Like the old saying again, you want to hide the truth from a Negro? Do what?
Put it in a book.
Put it in a book. And you guys get distracted by everything. Like we said, from TVs, from cell phones, iPads, video games, everything else. instead of reading the scriptures. And I'm not saying that you can't watch no TV. I'm not saying you can't play no video games. I'm just saying that you're putting more into that than what you need to be doing with the scripts and into the Father. That's the problem. And this is exactly what's going to keep happening. You're going to keep being deceived, and you're going to be led astray 100%. And then, you know, what? When you get judged by Christ, you won't see me standing there saying, I told you so. The Hamashiach is going to tell you, I told you so. The Father is going to tell you, I told you so. So I don't have to say anything. So I don't have to be like, nah, I told you. No, I don't even need all that. I don't even need to do all that. Most High willing, my name's written in the book of life, and I'm chilling in one of the mansions that's in the kingdom. Okay? But let's see what he's talking about, deceitfulness. Let's go to Jeremiah 17 and 9.
Jeremiah 17th chapter, verse 9. The heart is deceitful above all things. The desperately wicked. Who can know it?
Who could know the heart? You don't know it. And obviously you say you could try the spirit and stuff. It says you need to learn discernment. How do you learn discernment if you don't know the laws? Once again, keep reading, Elder.
I, the Most High, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruits of his doings.
See that? Keep reading.
As the partridge sitteth on eggs and hatches them not, so he that getteth riches, and not by right, shall leave them in the midst of his days, and at his end shall be a fool.
So like I said, you tricking the people out here. You're doing stuff to get your own gain and get money and stuff by robbing the Most High and robbing the people and stuff. Saying, oh, but we doing the work for the Most High. This is how we get our income. Wrong. No. You, the people, willingly, by their own free will, give up an alm to give you. You don't put a bucket out there. Or you don't put something and tell them, well, we take donations. No, don't even say that. Anything that you wanted to do, you're doing the work and stuff. Of course you're doing the work. You provide yourself. You work your own job and stuff. You come out your own pocket and things and you pay for all this stuff. If the people want to help you and give you money to do this and stuff, then so be it. That's the Most High giving you blessings and things like that. Because you are doing the work truthfully and honestly. But today, you're still robbing the people and stuff. And you're robbing them by taking away their salvation and stuff. On a spiritual level. But let's see what he's talking about when it's all deceitful. The heart is the most deceitful thing. Who could know it? Go to Mark 7. Let's see what the Son says. Hamashiach. Mark 7 and verse 20 through 23.
Yes.
Okay.
Mark, the 7th chapter, verse 20 through 23. And he said, that which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man. For from within, out of the heart of man, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, and murders, theft, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile the man.
See that? So that's where it's coming from. Even Christ even said it because he's speaking to the Pharisees and stuff because he know how wicked they was. Everything we saying is coming to pass like it says. There's nothing new under the sun. Your modern day Pharisees today is your so-called elders, your deacons, your bishops, the camps, so forth and so on. I ain't going to say all of them, but majority of them, okay? They're deceitful. And that's what they dealing with the things. You had something to say, Ellie? Okay. Let's jump to Micah chapter 3. And talks more about the false prophets and things. And we already read the law on what you do with a false prophet. And we're going to read, we'll start at verse 1 all the way to 12.
Micah chapter 3, verse 1 through 12. And I said, hear, I pray you, O heads of Jacob, and ye princesses of the house of Israel. Is it not for you to know judgment? Who hate the good and love the evil? Who pluck off their skin from off them, and their flesh from off their bones? Who also eat the flesh of my people, and flay their skin from off them? And they break their bones, and chop them in pieces, as for the pot, and as flesh within the cauldron. Then shall they cry unto the Most High, but he will not hear them. He will even hide his face from them at that time, as they have behaved themselves ill in their doings. Thus says the Most High concerning the prophets that make my people err, that bite with their teeth and cry, peace. And he that putteth not into their mouths, they even prepare war against him.
You see that? All this stuff, and it's speaking in spiritual aspect too. You're doing everything you can. You're making yourself fat off of the people. You're breaking their spirit and stuff. You're breaking it to the point where they obey you and not thus saith the Most High. That's the problem. That's the issues that's going on. You're killing these people on either purposely or unwilling or not knowingly. And that's a problem either way. So this is why the Most High is saying that you're causing war against him. You're actually fighting against him just to get your own gain, because your father is actually the devil, not the Most High. Okay? Let's keep reading.
Micah 3, verse 6. Therefore night shall be unto you, and ye shall not have a vision, and it shall be dark unto you, that ye shall not divine. And the sun shall go down over the prophets, and the day shall be dark over them. Then shall the seers be ashamed, and the diviners confounded. Yea, they shall all cover their lips, for there is no answer from the Most High.
See that? So, like I said again, when we was talking about that Obama thing, saying he was supposed to be a third term,
Yeah.
You guys didn't come out for a couple of weeks. You didn't say nothing for a good couple of weeks. And then you guys try to sit there and say, well, you use the scriptures by saying, well, we all looking through a dim window. Wrong. Stop speaking on that. You are not looking through a dim window. You're trying to look through a window that's already looked through a prophet, one of our ancestors, long time before you was even thought of. Leave the prophecies to the prophets already. Okay? Just go out here and speak the word. That's all you had to do. But no, you let the fame get to you. You let the spotlight. You ain't got tempted just like Christ got tempted when he said, I'll give you the whole world. I'll give you all these kingdoms of the world if you but bow down and worship me. And that's exactly what you guys do. You may not say that you worshiping Satan, but your actions speak of it. And that's what you're doing. You want to get the fame, the spotlight, the money, all this stuff. And then probably at the last second want to say, well, you know what? I did wrong. I admit my faults and my sins. Like, come on, man. You've been doing this for a long. Knowingly, you've been doing this. But anyways, let's keep reading.
Verse 8. But truly I am full of power by the Spirit of the Most High, and of judgment and of might, to declare unto Jacob his transgression, and to Israel his sin. Hear this, I pray you, ye heads of the house of Jacob, and the princesses of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment and pervert all equity.
See that? He's speaking to the heads. So if you claiming these titles and stuff, and you're claiming you're one of the heads and stuff here amongst Israel, this is a warning for you all. Go ahead.
Verse 10. They build up Zion with blood, and Jerusalem with iniquity. The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Yet will they lean upon the Most High, and say, is not the Most High among us? None evil can come upon us. Verse 12. Therefore shall Zion for your sake be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps, and the mountain of the house of high places of the forest. Oh, Lord.
You see that? That's exactly what you guys do. You charge for the word and stuff. I told you guys.
Wow.
Never one time that this does knowledge and wisdom and understanding come with a price tag when it was freely given to us in the first place. But you guys actually sat here and did these things, you know. You guys are charging that. You're doing this on purpose. The book is telling on you guys. No wonder your lessons, a lot of you guys' lessons be the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. That's called reprobated right there. That's all you guys are doing. You're not teaching nothing new. You'll teach the same. What you would do, you'll change the title of your lesson, and you'll teach the same lesson over, and sit there and say, "Well, we have something new for y'all, Israel. Let's get this in." And then you'll throw a whole nother act upon it. See, you may deceive the people, but you ain't deceiving me. I see things clearly for what they are and not what they appear to be. You want to know how I know this? Because the Father is teaching me through His Word, through Christ and the Holy Spirit. That's why I keep telling you guys. And you people that keep following them, your days is getting marked. Your days is coming up. I'm telling you guys, you better get yourself right and start reading this book and turn this stuff off and stop watching these videos and things and start reading this book for yourself without any influence. But, hey, it's on you. But, hey, like I said, this book is telling on y'all 24/7, all the time. All right, let's jump back to Jeremiah. And let's start at chapter 16 and 19. And this comes in because the reason why I'm going here with this also is because you've been taught by your slave masters, your Gentiles, to do the same things, who try to have authority over our book, and you doing the same stuff that they taught us and bringing it into the camps and stuff now. You're doing the same exact stuff. When the Most High told us in the law, learn not the way of the heathens, none of the laws, none of their cultures, none of their stuff, not even Egypt, none of them. And you brought that back into what you claim that we have consciousness and we have understanding now and we know who we are. You're just trying to make it sound extra deep, and it's not that deep. But anyways, 16 and verse 19.
Verse 19?
Yep.
Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 19. O Most High, my strength, and my fortress, and my refuge in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit.
Keep reading.
Shall a man make gods unto himself, and there are no gods? Therefore, behold, I will this once call them to know. I will cause them to know my hand and my might, and they shall know that my name is the Most High.
That's the last thing you want to do. You don't want to see that last little step coming from the Most High and stuff on that day, whatever day it might be, whatever second, minute, hour, day, week, month, year. You don't want that to happen. And this is what we're trying to explain. Even our people inherit these lies from the Gentiles and stuff. So now you're bringing the same lies into the teachings and stuff to make yourself to look like a god or to be idolized and stuff, for it to be pedestaled by the masses of the congregation and the peoples and things. That's what you're doing. But anyways, what do I know? Let's go to Isaiah 29 and verse 22. You're going to see, man, they carry no fruit whatsoever. They hollow. I guess I get them hollow bones.
Isaiah 29, 2? Mm-hmm. Isaiah chapter 29, verse 2. Yet I will distress Ariel.
Oh, Salakia. Okay.
Verse 2, Isaiah 29. Yet I will distress Ariel, and there shall be heaviness and sorrow, and it shall be upon me as Ariel.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, Salakia. No, sorry. Verse 22.
Verse 22.
I'm sorry, that's my fault.
Isaiah 29, chapter 29, verse 22. Verse 22. Therefore, thus saith the Most High, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob? Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face know now wax pale. But when he seeth his children, the work of mine hands in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name, and sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and shall fear the Most High of Israel. They also that erred in spirit shall come to understanding, and they that murmured shall learn doctrine.
So basically, it's just showing us this is why we have to lean on the Most High, because this is why he showed us this through the promise of Abraham all the way up through Jacob and stuff. This is where we're supposed to give glory unto him and things. So we understand our errors. How do we understand our errors? We go back to the laws. That's what Christ was teaching us, because the Pharisees they had the laws, but the people didn't have this around. Our people didn't have this. The Pharisees had control of this. And they were teaching lies and things like that to take glory onto themselves and not give it back to the Father through Christ and the Holy Spirit. So now it's the same thing that's happening in modern day in terms. You ain't been so brainwashed, you're still dealing like you're back in the days of our ancestors and going to the synagogues to sit here and learn from the Pharisees. When you have this is, like I said, this is the new thing that the Most High did in the earth. He's given this to all people, everybody. So you can't be duped. So there's no excuse saying, well, I didn't know. But anywho, but once again, it's like there's not going to be no life in us, no nothing, because we're not sanctifying the Most High. So let's jump to Matthew 5:13, because this is why we have to have understanding of as far as sanctifying and glorifying the Most High, because he gave us a gift, and you'll see the gift that Christ is talking about that he given to us, because we're well known amongst the whole earth.
5:13.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Matthew chapter 5 verse 13. Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its savor, wherein shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men.
So with that being said, the promise, that's what was given to us. This is what makes us the salt of the earth. That's why everybody in the world wants to be like us. We have to lean back onto the Most High to give glory to him for giving us that blessing to be the salt of the earth. But if you are not doing this and you're not glorifying and leaning back onto the Most High to show all the promises that he's given us and stuff, then what is your worth? You worthless. You're not even upholding the Most High's name no more, making his name go in vain. It's without value in things. So now you're not the salt no more. You ain't got no flavor. You hollow. You're basically a dead man walking again. There's no light in you. There's no life. So you have to come back to these laws. You have to learn these things. Let's go to get that understanding. How you become not the salt anymore. Let's go back to Isaiah 29 and verse 13. We know Christ has said this to the Pharisees before. Even our own people. Excuse me.
Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 13 says, Wherefore the Most High said, For as much as this people draw near to me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me, but they remove their heart far from me, and their feet toward me is taught by the precept of man.
See that? By the laws of men, not by the laws of the Most High. This is the warning that it was being prophesied through Isaiah. That's what Christ was talking about in the time of the Pharisees. But let's keep reading. We'll get the script on that in 1 second. But let's keep reading.
Verse 14. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Most High, and their works are in the dark. And they say, Who seeth us? And who knoweth us? Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed at the potter's clay. For shall the work say unto him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say unto him that framed it, he had no understanding? Verse 17. It is not yet a very little while, and Lebanon shall be turned into a fruitful field, and the fruitful field shall be esteemed as a forest. And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. And the meek also shall increase their joy in the Most High, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. Verse 20. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off, that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside from the just for a thing of naught. Therefore said the Most High, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob.
Oh, we read this. Okay, so stop right there. So the Most High is letting you know, he said, woe unto them for doing these things. He's going to make your so-called, dazzling men with the big titles and things like that, he's going to make them come to naught. You're going to see it. Everybody's going to see that, and that's why he said the deaf shall actually hear the word, and the blind should see the book, read from the book. He's even telling you to read from the book. I mean, like, it'll get no plainer than that. And obviously, some of y'all, you're not going to wake up from that. And it's spoken. Y'all 2/3 bound, literally. Okay? So let's see what Isaiah was talking about. Let's see what Christ was saying this. That's why I wanted the elder to read this all the way through, because it marked everything that the Pharisees were saying. Same thing like you elders and preachers and deacons and bishops out there who's doing the same thing. Let's go to Mark 7 and verse 1 through... I'm sorry. Mark 7 verse 21 through 27.
21 through 27?
Yes, sir. Let me get that real quick. Oh. Excuse me. Okay, go ahead.
Mark, the 7th chapter, verse 21 through 27.
Yeah, that's it. Go ahead.
Verse 21 through 27. For from within, out of the heart of man, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornication.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Slakia. I'm sorry. Matthew. I'm sorry. That's my fault, y'all. Matthew 7 and 21 through 27. Sorry about that.
We can do that too.
Sorry. Salakia, y'all. Okay.
Matthew, 7th chapter, verse 21 through 27. 21. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say unto me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? Verse 23. And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Verse 24. Therefore, whoever heareth these things of mine and doeth them, excuse me, I would liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon the house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And everyone that heareth these things, these sayings of mine, and doeth them not, shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon the house, and it fell. And great was the fall of it. That's verse 27.
Just read that one. Read it all the way through
Last
28
two.
and 29. Yeah.
Verse 28 of Matthew 7 chapter. And it came to pass, when Yeshua had ended these things, saying, the people were astonished at his doctrine, for he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes.
So, if you have brothers out here speaking the truth, I mean the whole truth, dealing with the scriptures 100%, and come against your so-called congregation, whatever it may be, you're going to have such an attitude against that man because he's leaning on what the book actually says than what this man says, you know? And that's the issue that's going on today. Once again, the deceitful lies and so forth and so on, because they are teaching the doctrines of men, not the precepts, meaning the laws of the Most High, but the precepts of men. So they're twisting and they're doing the same thing that Christ even said. As a matter of fact, now I see why I went to Mark 7. Oh, Mark 7, and then go to verse 6, verse 6. Was talking about, your hearts are far from me. Yeah.
Mark the 7th chapter and verse 6. And it reads, and he answered and said unto them, where hath Isaiah prophesied of you hypocrites, as it is written, this people honor me with their tongue, but their heart is far from me.
Keep reading.
Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrine the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandment of God, ye hold the tradition of man, as the washing of pots and cups, and many other such like things you do. And he said unto them, full well you reject the commandment of the Most High, that ye may keep your own tradition. For Moses said, honor your mother and your father, and whoever curses father or mother, let him die the death. But ye say, if a man shall say unto his father or mother, it is Corban, that is to say, a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me, he shall be free. And ye suffer him no more to do aught at his father or his mother, making the word of the Most High of none effect through the tradition which ye have delivered, and many such things you do.
You see that? So that's what we're talking about right there. That's why Christ brought that up. And that's why the Pharisees couldn't do nothing to him, because they knew he knew the laws. They were astonished at him because he didn't learn from them. He was living in, Nazareth and stuff. It's like one of the poorest places in Judea. But then you had the Pharisees all in the synagogue. They had all the scrolls. Everybody didn't have this once again. And here comes Yeshua sitting here speaking all this stuff. And they're astonished at him because every time they try to test him and try to make him look like a fool in front of everybody, they ended up looking like a fool. And then they were like, how in the heck does he know this? They, like I said, they're dead man walking. They had no salt to them whatsoever. The only salt that they had from them was from the masses of the people. There was no light in them and stuff. That's why everything he was saying was just chopping them all the way up. And then you had the foolish ones who still wanted to follow the Pharisees and be like, nah, hey, who is he? I don't know. The prophet says this. It says that. It says this. And it's like, wait a second. You said the prophet says this and said that. Did you actually read the scrolls? I would have been asked to the Pharisees this back then. I mean, the people. Did you actually read the scrolls that the Pharisees have and stuff? Or were you taught that just sitting there in the synagogue like this? And sitting there saying, praise the Most High. Ain't nothing new under the sun. You guys still doing the same thing till this day.
And this is the perfect example
of
this holiday. The Most High told Jeremiah, tell us not to do this thing. And yet we say we've been doing it all our lives. Our mother and our father, is our tradition. So we go and we do it. So then we do exactly what just Messiah said. We make the tradition of men more important than the tradition of the Most High, making his word of no effect.
That's right.
As if it doesn't matter, but it does.
100%. Just say something real quick, Elder.
Yeah, sure. I was talking to a young man at work, and I was telling him about the word and how we're supposed to live. And saw him about 2 months ago, and I told him He needs to get into the Word and quit listening to what just anybody tell him. And so when I saw him again last week, he said, I'm reading the Bible, but I still go to church. I said, well, if you go to church, that's fine, but know what the Bible says. Mm-hmm. And I said, when you understand the Bible and know what it says, there's a lot of things you're going to be giving up. So that goes right back to this again. The tradition of men, we give up when we follow and obey his word. So that's a testament that I have for him. But a lot of people, you tell them this and you come back the next week and they tell you the same thing. Merry Christmas! I thought I just told you I don't celebrate Christmas.
Right.
Well, that's all right. Well, if it's okay, then why you keep telling me Merry Christmas? I just told you I don't celebrate it. It's like this time of the year, you wish that you could do like the prophet. You could just go somewhere and just get away from all this stuff and hide.
Yep.
And when you were talking about the prophet, it hit me so hard. It's like, this is exactly what we say, those of us who are in the truth. I wish I could get away from everything from November to January, so I wouldn't have to go through this foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
But we do. So while we do, we let others know that that's not what it's about. Nobody knew his birthday. And he never celebrated his birthday. Matter of fact, I have not seen in Scripture where we celebrate birthdays, period. That's Hebrews. I have not seen that. If somebody knows something about it, maybe they could do something on it and let us see it. But I've never seen where we celebrated birthdays as a way of life. It was something that the pagans did.
Yep.
And it usually didn't turn out too good for us. So staying away from the tradition of man usually does us very well.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out good for us. Even though sometimes it doesn't look good, it still turns out good because at the end they always have to come back to us. And you see they try to steal our word. See they try to steal our whole history.
Yep.
And claim it.
Everything.
So they still have to come back to us because the Most High didn't give it to them. He gave it to us.
That's right. That's right, Elder. Shoot. So they have to keep bringing this on out.
That's why we have to keep saying it over and over again.
Okay, so now, the water, Elder, and now what we're gonna do is, now, I was thinking about not going into this. I was gonna do it for another lesson, but I figure I put this in here because this is where they talk about twisting the ties and stuff into money and things like that when it had nothing to do with money. Mm-hmm. And it was about food. So basically, it's falling into what we just got done reading, how they follow the commandments of men and not the commandments of the Most High. So let's go to Deuteronomy in chapter 14 and verse. We'll start at verse 22 through 29.
Okay. Excuse me. Deuteronomy, the 14th chapter, verse 22 through verse 29.
And real quick, and this is where they get saying, all the laws is done away with in Christianity, but they still making you tithe and stuff when it had nothing to do with money, okay? It's all about food, as we're going to read here.
Deuteronomy 14th chapter, verse 22 through verse 29. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year.
No, thy money.
Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed.
No, all the works that I do at work.
Increase of thy seed.
Of thy seed.
S-E-E-D.
As in crops. Okay? Keep reading.
That the field bring forth from year to year.
See that? This is talking about bringing in your crops onto the priesthood, the Levites and things. Had nothing to do with money. If y'all try to say, well, nowadays it's money and stuff, well, actually there is scriptures in here that tells you to take your money and go buy the food and bring it into the priesthood. Okay? But go ahead, Elder.
Deuteronomy 14, verse 23. And thou shalt eat before the Most High thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there. The tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, of thy oil, and the firstlings of thy herds, and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Most High thy God always.
Now, I thought it just said money. I heard nothing but
corn,
fruits,
wine, oil, firstlings, herds of thy flocks.
I heard nothing but fruits and vegetables and animals. So where's the money at? Where's the money? And it say nothing about money. So what are you doing collecting tithes and things like that? And how do you collect tithes and you don't even know you're from the tribe of Levi and you don't even know you're one of the sons of Aaron, the priesthood. The priesthood that's an everlasting generation from Aaron's loins all the way up until where we're at today. How in the heck are you? How you know that? So why should I be bringing tithes to you? I don't understand that one. Well, I mean, I do understand. I'm just saying, like, I don't understand how y'all be doing it and things, but whatever. Let's keep reading.
Verse 24. And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Most High thy God shall choose to set his name there, when the Most High thy God had blessed thee, then shalt thou turn it into money, and bind up the money in thine hand, and shall go unto the place which the Most High thy God shall choose, and thou shalt bestow that money for whatever thy soul lusteth after, for oxen, or sheep, or wine, or strong drink, or for whatever thy soul desireth. And thou shalt eat there before the Most High thy God, and thou shalt rejoice, thou and thine household. Thou shalt bestow the money for whatever thy soul lusteth after. Sheep, ox, wine, strong drink, or whatever thy soul desireth.
Oh man, I gotta laugh, man.
Or go by.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see these preachers and pastors, deacons, elders, and stuff, for all the people start bringing in flocks of sheep and goats and everything you possibly can. I'm waiting on that day.
Wine, vino.
See that? I didn't say it. That's thus saith the Holy Bible. Thus saith the Most High through Christ and the Holy Spirit. Thus saith the Bible. I didn't say that. That's what it says. But let's keep reading now.
Verse 27. And the Levite that is within thy gates.
No, any man.
And the Levite that is within thy gates.
No, Judah.
Levite.
Benjamin.
And the Levite that is within thy gates.
Reuben.
Levi.
Ishmael.
Not Issachar.
Ephraim.
No, not Ephraim.
Manasseh.
Levi.
Levite.
Levite.
Keep reading.
From the tribe of Levi. Thou shalt not forsake him, for he had no part nor inheritance within thee. At the end of 3 years, thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of thy increase the same year, and thou shalt lay it up within thy gates. Verse 29. And the Levite, because he had no part of it, nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, which are within thy gates, thou shalt eat and be satisfied, that the Most High thy God may bless thee and all the works of thy hand which thou doest.
So hold on one second. So you guys playing the whole we're dealing the Melchizedek thing. We're the priesthood and we're the leaders and stuff, right? We're priests now, as you guys say we are. So when that's another lesson I'm gonna break down anyway. But if you're getting all this money, all this tithe or alms, as you want to claim that's what it is and stuff, because you sugarcoat things, why is the people in your congregation going without and on Facebook asking for help in financial situations and they're going without? And your congregations in Christianity doing the same thing. It just said that the stranger, which is a Gentile, the fatherless, the widow, which are within thy gates, shall come and eat, and shall eat, and be satisfied, that the Most High thy God may bless thee in all the works of thine hand, which thou doest. Nah, see, you ain't getting blessed. You getting blessed by the people. You ain't getting blessed by the Most High. You're taking away from the people, and you ain't helping to give back.
Well, it said in the last part, that God may bless thee in all the work of thine hand that thou doest.
See? And once again, where did we hear about money? That this is turned into money. The only time it said money, it said to bind that money up and to go buy the stuff, which is what? The oxen and all the animals, fruits and vegetables and things, and bring it in.
Verse 26.
You guys be lying. Boy. Let's get the next part. Let's jump to Genesis 14:19 through 20 to see where that was established. I mean, well, it was established even with Abel and Cain and Abel. Well, I'm just going.
Genesis 14:19 and 20.
Yep. Start at verse 18. Yeah, we'll start at verse 18.
Genesis chapter 14, verse 18. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was a priest of the Most High God. And he blessed him, and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thy enemies into thy hand, and he gave him tithes of all. See
that? That's the reason why that law was created, was to give all to the priesthood and things, because this was what was getting set up. It was a precursor of what was going to happen and things like that. This is the reason why you're supposed to give tithes and things, because these are certain individuals that the Most High had set up in the first place. But he picked Levi through Moses and stuff to be that tribe that you had to give this to them, because they were the most faithfulest to the Most High. They wasn't doing like what all the other brothers were doing, the other tribes and things. Okay, so this is the reason why you bring in the tithing. It had nothing to do with money. Even in Genesis, it said bread and wine. Okay, and Melchizedek is the one that did this. As we know, Christ is in that order. Okay. So we're just getting where the foundation that goes. Let's jump to Genesis 28 and verse 20 through 22.
Genesis chapter 28, verse 20 to verse 22. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, If God will be with me, and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, verse 21, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Most High be my God. And this stone which I have set for a pillar shall be God's house. And of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give the 10th unto thee.
See that? Even our forefathers is sitting here showing us that he'll give we're supposed to give a 10th. You see how it goes? It starts in Genesis, goes through the forefathers, go through the laws, go through the prophets, goes through Christ, and goes through Paul's writings and stuff. All this stuff is all connected. You just have to connect the dots and stuff. This is what's pre-done in Genesis and stuff. These laws, statutes, and commandments was already created back in Genesis before even Exodus came, before Moses even came into play. Okay? But let's keep reading.
Verse 23.
And like the most, this is a vow that you're supposed to do. The vow that you have given, like it tells you in the laws, when you make a vow unto the Most High, you better keep it. And as he said this, if you do these things for me, Most High, I will give a 10th of what you give back on to everybody. Okay? That's not selfishness. Okay? But anyways, Genesis, what did I say? 20?
We just did 28, 22, 22, 22.
Okay, let's go. I'm sorry. Let's go to Leviticus 27 and verse 30 through 34, the law again.
Leviticus 27?
Yes, sir.
The verses are?
Sorry. 30 through 34.
Leviticus chapter 28, verse 30
Did I say 20? I thought I said
27.
27.
27.
Okay.
I bet.
Oh, you good.
Leviticus 27, verse 30 through 34.
Yes, sir.
There's no 28 anyway. Verse 30. And all the tithe of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the tree, it is the Most High. It is holy unto the Most High. And if a man will at all redeem aught of his tithes, he shall add thereunto the fifth part thereof. Verse 32. And concerning the tithe of the herd or of the flock, even whatsoever passes under the rod, the tenth shall be holy unto the Most High.
Nah, I think it said money.
And concerning the tithe of the herd or of the flock,
No, the bank.
it says the tithe of the herd or of the flock.
Of your taxes and your checks.
The tithes of the herd or of the flock, that's animals.
Continue.
Or even of whatsoever passes under the rod, the tenth shall be holy unto the Most High. He shall not search whether it be good or bad, neither shall he change it.
What?
He shall not search whether it be good or bad, neither shall he change it.
You shall not change it. So, where the money come into play? Hold that real quick. Let's go to Malachi 3 and 6 real quick. Y'all be tripping.
Malachi,
Yep. Malachi 3 and 6.
Okay. Malachi chapter 3 and verse 6 said, For I am the Most High, I change not.
No, he does change.
I change not. I am the Most High, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
See that? Once again.
Malachi 3:6.
Jump to 1 Corinthians 14 real quick.
1 Corinthians 14.
And verse 33.
1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 33 says, For the Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints.
See that? So, Most High changed not. He's not the author of confusion. Who's confusing the people? Men. That's exactly what you guys are doing. You fake false prophets, teachers, bishops, deacons, elders, preachers, pastors, whatever you want to call yourself. That's exactly what you're doing. You causing confusion because you want to be right and you knowingly you're wrong. But let's go back to Leviticus and finish that up. 27 and verse
27, we're going to be at verse 33. We're going to finish that up.
Okay.
He said, He shall not search whether it be good or bad, neither shall he change it. And if he change it at all, then both it and the change thereof shall be holy. It shall not be redeemed. These are the commandments which the Most High commanded to Moses for the children of Israel in Mount Sinai.
Done deal. So it's etched in stone. Don't change this stuff. Okay? It has nothing to do with money. Tithing has nothing to do with money, period. Okay? This is Leviticus 27. Jump to Leviticus 18 and 21.
Leviticus 18 chapter and verse 21. Wait. 18:21. Leviticus?
Wait a second. Wait, Salakia. Wait a second. Sorry, y'all. Wrong. I had some side notes on this. I was street teaching. Whoops. My bad. Wrong one.
And that's where it comes in that it's important to know what his word says. Law, statutes, and commandments and statutes, because if he's not the author of confusion, if you know his word, precept upon precept, when somebody comes to you with something that's not in here, you can right away cut it down. Because you can either say, no, that's not what it says, and repeat, or find what it says and read it to them, or ask the person who's even saying that, where do you see that at? Show me that.
That's right.
Because then that confusion is on him and not you.
Yep. And don't cause no attitudes and get in your chest and your feelings and act all emotional because you don't know, you wasn't taught this by your so-called idolized preacher, pastor, deacon, elder, whatever. That's your fault. You got the book right here. Stop being lazy and read it. I'm sorry. Deuteronomy 12, 5 and 6. Yeah, I had some side notes in here. Some I was putting in here. Yeah, we're staying on the tithing part.
Right.
We had an hour, but we're gonna finish this the tithing part up and then get back with the last part. Probably like a part 4 to this.
Okay, Deuteronomy, the 12th chapter, verse 5 through verse 6, and 5th verse says, "But unto the place which the Most High your God shall choose out of all your tribes to put His name there, even unto His habitation shall ye seek, and neither thou shalt come. And thither ye shall bring your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, and your tithes and heave offerings of your hand, and your vows and your freewill offerings, and the firstlings of your herds and of your flocks."
Keep reading.
Verse 7, "And there ye shall eat before the Most High your God, and ye shall rejoice in all that ye put your hand unto, and your household wherein the Most High thy God has blessed thee."
So right here, it's just explaining again where the Most High chooses. Most High didn't choose a man-made building and stuff. That's not where He put His name at. The church and things like that. It's not happening. All your tithing is supposed to come over into the land of Israel and things like that. But the fact of the matter is, stop twisting the words of the Most High and stop twisting, trying to get gain off of people and stuff off of their ignorance and things like that. Stop that. But you guys got it coming if you don't.
And like he said, the house of Israel, be careful. We're not talking about that Jew. That is not the house of Israel.
That's right. They're not the real people. So yeah, do not take a pilgrim over into Jerusalem today and sit there and think that them the people and stuff. Stop it. Ain't no so-called Caucasian man going through heat of slavery down in Egypt without any sunblock. Stop it. It's not happening. Not even in the land of Israel or Saudi Arabia, as you want to call it. You ain't surviving out there without any sunblock, buddy. It's not happening. And it's too hot to be putting too much clothing on. See, they were covered up, see? Stop that. Anyways, Deuteronomy 14 and verse 22.
Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 22 again?
Yeah, 20. Didn't we read this already?
We read that already.
Oh, never mind.
That's all I say again.
Yeah, we already went through that. I'm sorry. Go to I want to say 2 Chronicles 31. Yeah, 2 Chronicles chapter 31, verse 4 through 5.
2 Chronicles chapter 31, verses 4 through 5.
Mm-hmm.
And it reads thus: "Moreover, he commanded the people that dwell in Jerusalem to give the portion of the priests and the Levites, that they might be encouraged in the law of the Most High."
Dang. See, even then, you doing this and following this encourage everybody else to do the same thing. You know, it keeps everybody on their toes. So if you lack in something and you ain't helping your brother out and stuff, guess what? He's going to lack as well.
That's right.
That's why it's important to come together and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, real truth. You know, one mind, one understanding underneath the Most High's law, statute, and commandments through Christ and the Holy Spirit. Seriously, this is what you need to do. But keep reading. Verse 5.
Verse 5. "And as soon as the commandment came abroad, the children of Israel brought in abundance the first fruits of corn, wine, oil, and honey, and of all the increase of the field, and the tithe of all things brought they in abundantly.
No, I thought it was money again.
Oh, yeah. First fruits, corn, wine, oil, and honey, and the increase of the field.
So Israel brought that in the northern kingdom. Let's see verse 6.
Verse 6. And concerning the children of Israel and Judah that dwelt in the cities of Judah, they also brought in the tithes of oxen and sheep, and the tithes of holy things which were consecrated unto the Most High their God, and laid them by heaps.
By heaps.
Okay. So this was not a joke.
Yeah, read verse 7 real quick.
Verse 7. In the third month, they began to lay the foundation of the heaps, and finished them in the 7th month. Verse 8. And when Hezekiah the prince came and saw the heaps, they blessed the Most High and his people Israel. Then Hezekiah questioned the priests and the Levites concerning the heaps. And Azariah, the chief priest of the house of Zadok, answered him and said, Since the people began to bring their offerings into the house of the Most High, we have had enough to eat, and have left plenty. For the Most High had blessed his people, and that which is left is this great store. Then Hezekiah commanded to prepare the chambers in the house of the Most High, and they prepared them, and brought in the offerings and the tithes and the dedicated things faithfully over the Canonia. And the Levite was ruler, and Shimei was the next.
Okay, that's it on that. So basically, you see how big of a storehouse this had? Even what Hezekiah did, man, he blessed it and everything. Back in the law, you're supposed to give that to the people too. You're supposed to help give that on to the people and stuff. This is true rulership, true leadership, true kingship. This is what you're supposed to do. But no, you guys don't do that. You keep all the money for yourself and things, and whatever else you claim that you're getting blessed with and stuff, you keep it for yourself, and the people go without. See that? And as a matter of fact, I think the Levites were the ones that brought in the first stuff. As a matter of fact, they were.
Oh, yeah.
Verse 4, Moreover, he commanded the people that dwelt in Jerusalem to give the portion of the priests and the Levites that they might be encouraged in the law to do it. So the Levites are the first ones that basically came in, and then it said Israel and Judah came in after and brought in abundance as well. So it started off with the Levites because, once again, the Most High chose the Levites.
So in other words, you're saying that if you're a Levite, you're supposed to be bringing it in, not taking it out.
Right.
First.
Right. So even they didn't have no portion to any of the inheritance of the thing. They brought in first to bring in to help the whole nation. And then Israel and Judah joined and said, okay, we see them doing, we need to come in and do this.
So it's more than enough.
Yep.
Like
way more than enough. That's why should nobody in our nation go without.
Got it.
But let's get these last little ones. I think Nehemiah 10 and 35.
Nehemiah 10.
Yep. Nehemiah 10 and 35 through 37. Actually, we got 3 more chapters. 3 more books, and they're short, so we'll go through this all the way. I don't care if it's an hour and 10 minutes. It doesn't matter. We'll get this all the way done, and then we'll do the last part, the finale of lying preachers, pastors, deacons, bishops, so forth and so on.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so all this that we're showing and prove here, this is all the finances that come in. If you have lands and things like that, you're creating the fruits and things. This, when you start cropping, when you start getting these things, this is what you're supposed to do and stuff. Don't get this twisted with alms. If you free willingly, people want to give who you call your leader and stuff some money and things like that, that is on you. But do not sit there and say this is tithing and things like that. Don't ever do that. Okay?
Nehemiah 10 what?
Nehemiah 10 and 35 through 37.
Okay. Nehemiah 10 chapter, verse 35 through verse 37. And to bring the first fruits of our ground and the first fruits of all the fruit of trees year by year unto the house of the Most High. 36. Also the firstborn of our sons and of our cattle, as it is written in the law, and the firstlings of our herds, of our flocks, and to bring to the house of the Most High unto the priests that minister in the house of the Most High, and that we shall bring the first fruits of our dough and our offerings and the fruit of all manner of trees and wine and of oil unto the priests to the chamber of the house of the Most High, and the tithes of our ground unto the Levites, that same Levites may have the tithes in all the cities of our tillage.
Keep reading.
And the priest, the son of Aaron, shall be with the Levites when the Levites take the tithes, and the Levites shall bring up the tithe of the tithes unto the house of our God, and to the chambers into the treasure house. For the children of Israel and the children of Levi shall bring the offering of the corn, of the new wine, and the oil, unto the chambers where are the vessels of the sanctuary, and the priests that minister, and the porters, and the singers, and we will not forsake the house of the Most High.
You see that? So it even tells you again, the Levites are the first ones to bring in the tithes. Then the rest of Israel and Judah was supposed to bring in as well. This is a cause and a whole abundance. This is why we should never be without. We be richer than any other nation out here and stuff. But we don't do this because why? You're too busy trying to get followers to be underneath you. You want to be the head, the head man in charge. I ain't gonna say, the well, you know what I mean, HNIC. So, this is what you guys want to do. You're fighting over a position that's not even been given to you. Okay? Just do the work and things like that, and all this will come to you. Okay? You don't have to lie about it. But we'll finish this up. Let's go to Proverbs 3 and 10. 3 and 9 through 10.
Okay. Proverbs, the third chapter. Proverbs, the third chapter, verse 9 and verse 10. Honor the Most High with thy sustenance, and with the first fruit of thine increase. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine.
See that? No, that's it on that. So even from the wisest man before Christ was on the earth, Solomon was telling you, follow the laws. He's telling you exactly what's going to happen. If you follow this, the Most High is going to give you more abundance, more things, constantly. So if you just follow what he's asking you, it's simple little things. You're going to get everything that you want, anything that your heart desires. That's what the Most High said in Psalms. I got to think about that scripture, but we'll come back to that. Let's go to Amos 4 and verse 4 through 5. And I'm telling you, I see it with my own eyes happen in front of me all the time.
Yeah, because there's always more than enough. There's always more than enough when you follow scripture.
Yep. Like I say, Amos 4
verse 4 and 5.
Yep.
Amos chapter 4, verse 4 through 5.
Salakia, yeah, hold on one second. Yep.
Fourth chapter. Verse 4 through 5. Amos chapter 4, verse 4 through 5. Come to Bethel and transgress at Gilgal, multiply transgression, and bring your sacrifices every morning and your tithes after 3 years, and offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving with leaven, and proclaim and publish the free offerings. For this liketh you, O children of Israel, saith the Most High your God.
See that? So he's just basically saying that, listen, once again, you guys been transgressing the laws. Okay, you've been trespassing, you've been doing all these things. You got to bring in all this stuff to clean you from all that stuff, and your tithes and stuff. He's reminding you, come back to the law. 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 Which goes back to what? Coming back onto the Father through Christ and the Holy Spirit. Let's get Malachi 2:8 and through 9, and then that's it.
Malachi, second chapter.
Yep.
8 through?
8 through 9.
Okay. Malachi is the second chapter, verse 8 and 9.
Oh, I meant Micah. Oops. No, we want Malachi. I was in the wrong chapter.
Okay.
I mean, wrong book. Okay, go ahead.
Malachi, second chapter, verse 8 and 9. Verse 8. But ye are departed out of the way. Ye have caused many to stumble at the law. Ye have corrupted the covenant of Levi, said the Most High of hosts. Therefore have I also made you contemptible and base before all the people, according as ye have not kept my ways, but have been partial in the law.
So you corrupted all the way. So all the stuff that we're showing you, the tithes, everything, the word, it goes all the way back to the law. But what you have done, you so-called leaders, deacons, elders, bishops, whatever, out there in camps and Christianity and stuff, you purposely twist the laws on purpose to get your own gain and stuff. And you're making the people fall and cause them to get their name not written in the book of life. So this is why it's so important. Once again, I just pray and hope that you guys really, if you guys watch these videos and stuff, I really hope that you guys take this jewels that's coming on out of here from the word itself, and you apply it to yourself and others and stuff, because you ain't got that much time. Okay, so we're gonna end it here, and we'll pick back up in part 4. We'll pick back up in Ezekiel. Chapter 2 and verse 3 through 10. So this would be part 4. So I pray and hope, like I said, everybody's doing well. Go out, go smash some idols, cut down some, burn up some Christmas trees. If you see Santa, punch him in the gut and stuff. No, I was just playing.
No.
They're gonna be like, hey, this is what they're teaching. No, I'll be sarcastic. Even though back in the day, that's exactly what would happen. Okay, so you guys is lucky who's still dealing in paganistic ways and following these, cultures and all these other, folly ways that the Most High said not to do through Christ and the Holy Spirit and stuff. You're lucky right now. Because back in the day, that'd have been burnt up. You would have been put to death and all this other stuff to put away any wickedness out of the house of Israel. So, anywho, I'm Brother Ezekiel. Like I said, I was just joking about that last part, okay? So, they'll be like, oh, we got it. Like, come on, man. Anyways, I'm Brother Ezekiel.
Brother Chris.
And we'll build with you later next week. All right. Shalom.
So,